Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all have enjoyed your Monday and your start to your work week. I got a lot to talk about here. There's the potential for a winter storm to impact the eastern U.S. Not just a winter storm, but a big time storm in general. And that's what we're going to break down. We're going to go over the latest model information. Then we're going to dive deep in what's causing this system, what we need to happen for this to become a big system, or what needs to happen for it not to become a big system. We're going to take a look at a few cities along the eastern U.S., a few major cities, and really break down what some of the ensembles are showing for these major cities. So we're going to go through the Euro, the GFS, and things like that and break it all down for you guys. So if you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for me. Like the video if you like it. Hit me up on Twitter and Facebook. I've been very busy at work today, and I probably will be throughout the whole week, but I still provide frequent updates on all my social media platforms and try to keep y'all up to date when obviously I can't on YouTube constantly like I would like to do. But thank y'all for the amazing support. If you guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray for you guys, gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get going here. Let's start off by looking at the Weather Prediction Center, and this is the winter weather outlook. So basically it shows the percent chances of a 1/4 inch liquid equivalent of snow and sleet. So this is valid for Saturday, January 29th, this coming weekend. So the areas you see in the really light green, that is a 10 to 30% chance of what I just said, a 1/4 inch of snow to sleet equivalent. The areas in the darker green is a 30 to 50% chance, which is really increasing for areas of the Mid-Atlantic and the I-95 corridor, stretching from Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City, up to Boston, into Maine. But you notice, get on down here, getting close to Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, Raleigh, you guys are in this. So there is a sign for a favorable pattern, and this is a system that's already inside 4 days. So we're already really on the heels of the storm. We really are. So we're in a rush to try to figure out what's going to happen. You go to day 6, and I think I said day 4 prior. Day 5 was what I just showed you. This is day 6, and a very strong signal for a winter storm up here in the Northeast. I really do think so. So obviously, we have the Winter Prediction Center, or winter weather outlook for the storm, the Weather Prediction Center highlighting an area. So there is a concern for a significant winter storm. So let's go to the GFS. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the lunchtime model, which is the 12Z run, and I'm going to compare it to the 18Z run because they are very, very different. Now, before I show you this, I want to mention a lot of times people who do what I do will just show you some forecasts, and they really won't give you a gut feeling on what they think is going to happen. And normally I don't do that. I try to give you some insight on what I think about the models, but that is it. I'll go on and say, and I'll eat crow if this doesn't happen, that's fine. But part of doing what I do, I got to predict something and give my own personal opinions on this. I really think regardless of where the models sit right now, I really do think that this is going to be an impactful storm for the eastern U.S. I'm not saying it's going to be an impactful storm, a major snowstorm for the southeast or South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. I'm not saying anybody specifically, but I really think from somewhere in the mid-Atlantic, especially to the northeast, this is going to be the biggest storm of the year, winter weather-wise, for some people. Hold me to it if you won't. That's fine. It's part of doing what I do. I can't just come up here and show you what models say and then roll on out. I want to dive a little deeper into this, but that is my hunch. So that being said, this gets into Friday evening into Saturday morning. So we have a developing low pressure right here on this run. It is tucked very close to the southeast. So what happens here as we get into the next run, we get into basically later Friday night. This moisture right here, as cold air clashes down here and crashes down into the southeast, you have this green, which is the rain that changes the snow for even areas of the Carolinas. It shows snow as far south as Georgia and to South Carolina and to North Carolina. And this would be a pretty much a classic rain turning to heavy snow kind of event for the Carolinas and then even in Virginia. And then this would turn up and go head on up the eastern seaboard and become a major system, and it would bring snow. Somehow the GFS is showing snow all at one time, all the way from South Carolina all the way to Maine. That just doesn't seem realistic to me at all. That would be a massive storm system. But this is showing snow from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, all the way up to Boston. Boston, what the 12Z GFS shows is it shows because of a lack of blocking up here, it wants to plow this low pressure right into areas of southern New England and then maybe switch areas of Boston to rain, then back to snow. But this is just one GFS run, right? So this GFS run shows a significant system. It shows snow another snow event and winter weather event all the way for areas of the southeast, and then for everybody up the 995 corridor. So we see that, right? Now we look at the run that just came out. It just came out, right? And what does it show? So we get into Friday afternoon, and already you can tell at this point that it looks different, right? You got low pressure much further off the coast of the Carolinas. You do have this northern piece of energy trying to phase here, but the phasing that goes on here is way too late. So areas of the southeast, mid-Atlantic, do not get impacted by the latest operational run of the GFS. Therefore, the storm does continue to strengthen, and it finally phases together completely and still turns into a pretty impactful storm system for areas of New England, especially far eastern areas of New England like Boston into Maine, and then turns pretty much very significant for areas of southeastern Canada. But it's a huge difference run to run. It's a big run to run difference. It really is, and especially considering the fact that we were having very favorable trends for an impactful weather system. So what we need to do really overnight is see how these trends continue overnight. But like I said, my gut feeling is this, regardless of what the models show over the next overnight hours and then into tomorrow, I really think this shifts west in time. I really do. It's just my hunch. It really is. I think that's what's going to happen. That's been the trend this year. It's been the trend all winter. It's the trend historically with systems like this. Let's look at the European, right? So this is the operational European from the day. And we're rolling here. We're getting into our Friday. This is this Friday. Friday afternoon. Notice you're starting to get moisture off the coast of the southeast. And then here's the northern piece of energy, which is the cold piece of energy. You have cold air already funneling down and digging down. This is a deep digging trough right here. Here comes the system developing. It's a little too late for areas of the Carolinas, but it starts putting out widespread snow for areas almost into Washington, D.C., and Baltimore and Philadelphia, but not quite. Gets into the Delmarva area and Delaware. Yes, I love saying Delmarva, guys. I had a couple people comment on that. Once I figured out how to say it, it's like it just flows, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, here we go. We're rolling up, and we're getting into Saturday morning. This is turning into a significant winter storm for areas of New Jersey, Long Island, New York City, and then it turns into a blockbuster blizzard for areas of Baltimore, southern New England. This would be a raging blizzard, I really think, for areas of southern New England. If well, just all of New England. I keep saying southern New England. This would be all of New England, the Northeast. This is a 958 millibar low. This would cause a lot of strong winds. And once we know something like this could happen, we'll dive a lot deeper into the impacts as far as winds. It's hard to dive really deep into impacts right now as far as snowfall accumulations and things like that when we're just so unsure about what's going to happen, right? So the latest European shows a big time storm, and we'll see what the 18Z Euro does, which is actually running right now. Does it trend out the sea like the GFS has done? But this would be a major storm system. And what's weird with this system is it develops some blocking on top up here, so it slows the system down, which is not what I was seeing yesterday. This would be a significant storm system. Get a little bit closer look at this for the Northeast, and just look at that. It's a band of intense snow over areas of Cape Cod and things like that. But we'll keep moving forward. So let's look at the GEFS ensembles for, that's not what I want to do, but let's look at the GEFS ensembles for the 12Z run, right? And we'll go on and get this rolling through here, right? This is on bang, and look at this. This goes all the way out until Sunday afternoon. Very good run for areas in the southeast all the way up the eastern seaboard. Even South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, you have almost a 2-inch snowfall mean showing up here. And Raleigh, areas of eastern Carolinas, Virginia, this is a nice snowfall mean showing up here. But you compare that with the GEFS ensembles from the latest run, and it significantly cuts back the totals, especially for areas further south. And then the trend for the big snow showing up has shifted east. Everything has shifted east. So, like I said, I'll eat crow. And one thing I am noticing is there's massive movements on the ensembles too, right? But I'm still going to stick to what I'm thinking with my hunch, and I'm thinking this is going to be a major impactful storm. It's just my feeling, and I know I've said it about 5 times in the video, but it's just my gut feeling. It really is, and it'd be cool to be wrong. Honestly, it's a learning experience, and I'll be down with it. I get a little energy, guys, but rolling through here. The European ensembles kind of match up more in line with the latest GEFS ensembles, but except up here in the Northeast. The European ensembles is like a blockbuster storm for you guys in the New England. You got widespread foot totals showing up here, and it really shows the idea of a low pressure developing, really getting going here, but it doesn't really get going here until it gets well off in this area, which means you stay really dry here in the Southeast. So this has potential even for areas in the Southeast. It does, but there's still a lot of question marks here setting up here. So let's look at the energy, because I don't want to just show you a bunch of models and then run on off. This is the 12Z. Watch what happens here. You get these couple of pieces of energy right here that phase together really early on in areas of the western deep south. They come together, and what you really watch here is how much it digs, how far it digs south. It phases right around here. It goes neutral tilted, then it goes negatively tilted right around here. When these storms go negatively tilted, just like in severe weather season, when you have these big tornado outbreaks in the deep south and things like that, that usually is because these systems go negatively tilted. When you have a negatively tilted trough, that's a sign of a strengthening storm system, and this definitely goes negative, especially right here as we're getting into Saturday afternoon. So that's why the 12Z GFS shows snow all down here, because it has just a more robust system. It's more amped up and amplified and shows a lot more precipitation for further areas west into this more cold air. This continues to dig like this, and just a very impactful storm. So you back that up, and you compare it with the latest run, and we're getting into Friday evening. Look how flat and progressive this looks. I mean, it like flattens out this piece of energy down here. This piece of energy right here takes over. They do kind of come together eventually, but it's not a phase between two pieces of energy to me. To me, it looks like it's more of a northerly stream dominated piece of energy, and it finally kind of comes together, but it only really impacts areas of the Northeast. If you're looking at the operational GFS run, it really just flattens out this piece of energy down here. And it's not digging either. That's why you stay really dry in the Carolinas and Georgia on this run. You know, if you compare it to the last run, let's back it up here. It's much slower one, and it digs much further south on the latest run, on the run prior. Look at the 850 temperatures. You can tell where the 32-degree line is right here. So if you look at the run prior to this, you had this cold air clashing down. You have a deepening low pressure. You have cold airs just aloft, a few thousand feet up in the air. To me, if you have a scenario like the 12Z that happened, which I think is a scenario, this would be a dynamic cooling kind of situation, a Miller B storm where you have cold air. You don't have really a great high pressure, but you have a dynamic cooling process going on, which means the temperatures could be marginal when the rain starts, but they would quickly cool down, and snow would begin falling in a situation like this. It's not really an ice situation to me. It doesn't. The Canadian model keeps wanting to show a lot of ice with this, but to me, it really doesn't show that to me. So we'll end this video with this, and we'll move through this pretty quick. We'll look at the latest EPS ensembles, and we'll go through some bigger cities along the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. Take a look at Atlanta. The signal was just not really there. I think Atlanta's a little too far west. I've had a lot of people asking about Georgia and areas of eastern Tennessee, and I think that this could happen for you guys, but I think the chances are much less for you folks in Georgia and places like that. But you look at Columbia, South Carolina, the signal's not very strong here either. In the Midlands of South Carolina, it's not. This is basically 51 members ran together to create a mean, and it's really not even enough to create a mean down here for the storm signal. It's not. You have like a dusting, a 1-inch total showing up here, but it's just not a very good signal. You go out to Raleigh-Durham area. I think that this could be a good storm for you guys. Now, this 8-inch scenario right here kind of skews, and that's what you watch for when you look at these ensemble runs. This is the ensemble runs I talk about all the time. It's a bunch of runs thrown together. For the European ensembles, it's 51. For the GEFS ensembles, I believe it's 31. And they're all thrown together to create a mean, which is basically 51 totals together. You average them up. It's just like basic math. And you find the average number. In this case, it would be 1 inch, because there's a lot of members that don't have nothing, and there's a lot of members that have a few inches of snow. So 1 inch mean for Raleigh showing up so far. You go up to Norfolk, Virginia, which I think sits at a pretty good spot to me for this system. And you have a lot of big dogs in here, well over a foot total showing up here. And then you have a couple members that don't show anything. So, but that's a solid 3-inch mean showing up for you guys. You go out to Washington, D.C., a lot of big dogs with this. Almost every member shows snow, but like 1 or 2. And you have a solid 3-inch mean for this system. You go up to Baltimore, and about the same thing as Washington, D.C., really. Strong signal for Baltimore. You have a couple members in here that show over a foot of snow, but then you still have a couple members that show a dusting. So there's a lot of wiggle room. But I can tell once you get further up the eastern seaboard, the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, obviously confidence increases. Then you look at somewhere like New York City, specifically Central Park, which I always like to choose that area. I would always, one of my dreams is to go up there during a blizzard. Who knows, I might do it this weekend. Just kidding, I don't know if I can do all that. But anyways, is to walk in Central Park in the middle of the night. Hopefully I won't get shanked or anything like that. But walk in Central Park in the middle of the night while it's snowing really heavy and just soak it all in. I know that I did that here in Columbia, here where I live the other night when it was snowing. I got out, it was about 11 p.m. It was snowing really heavy. Just walked down the sidewalk and just went into my own zone there. Would really be cool to do something like this. But anyways, getting off that, New York City, this is a strong signal for snow, and I really think y'all are going to get something out of this. Boston, even stronger. I mean, massive signal. Every member has accumulating snow, every single one. So you got over a foot mean showing up here. So I really think this is going to be a big storm for the Northeast. I don't, regardless of what the model's showing, these models are going to go back and forth, but ultimately, I really, really, really think, in my personal opinion, that these will trend west as we get into the next 24 to 36, 48 hours. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a great night, and God bless all y'all.